Okay, so here we are again at the basement here. So we've identified the one leak, and I did identify some lights we could get into and take a look. So that's going to be a little better anyway. I've got enough cobwebs on my hair now to. I don't have gray hair, but I do now. This is a high efficiency unit. This furnace. I apologize, you can't. The lighting is so poor. But it is a high efficiency unit. And this right here that has some fabric around it, that's for the air conditioner. And it's headed straight out the back of the part of the foundation there. And I'm pretty sure this is high efficiency. But this furnace does have some age on it. But the reason it's got the PVC pipes, so I'm thinking that it can exhaust pretty heavily cooled air. Otherwise, they'd have to use a chimney somehow. So that's kind of what we've got going on there. Now, I'm going to step across here. We've got some debris over here. This all needs to be cleaned up real well. So far, I haven't seen any critters. If you hear me yelp, you'll know that I found a critter. So here's this piece of plywood, and see, I think that may be covering that area along the foundation that we saw. And this is very, very hard to tell. This foundation here doesn't look too awful bad from what I can see. So I think we're probably okay there. Now you'll notice that we see this piping here. There's this pipe. There's another white pipe over this. This is all for condensate from the furnaces when they're running the central air and in the wintertime when they're running also. Okay, so we're going to go back here to the other furnace. And remember that on the other side we had that hole? There it is right there. And that's where that pipe is going out. And this appears to, yeah, this is a Trane furnace, high efficiency. So this is somewhat newer. So that's not too bad. So, I think we've had, some attempt has been made to update these furnaces and central air units. So that is a plus. So now we're getting back. Here's where this, and I cannot get a light here, but I don't know if you can tell it or not, but this is stepped up. So in other words, I'm just not going to be able to. This steps up about 3 foot right here, and then it goes out the wall there, and that's where that thing was on the side of the house where it's covered with shingles. That's that part there. So that's an access point. And then this is the original wall. And it looks like they expanded on this. And I'm looking at this piece of wood up here. This is chewed up, terrible. And what they did is, I think you'll notice they drilled through this beam, and then they had some issues with their heating and air, so they cut that out. And originally, they probably had some ductwork going back into this area behind me. But that thing's chewed up pretty good there. So then what their solution was to put this piece of wood underneath it and prop that up. And this is where a lot of the issues are with the house. And here's the thing. Every time I see a jack post like this, that's telling me that they put them in wherever they feel the need to put them in. If you at least see that light there, that's daylight that we can see right there through the foundation. And then on this sewer, just wanted to make sure, so they put an extra piece of wood underneath it to make sure it wouldn't have too much pressure on it. This is all really jury-rigged in a lot of ways. Now you can see this is all wet here. And again, here's another one of these areas where you can go out, I guess. I'm not sure why they have that design here on this foundation, but you'll notice how that thing has really buckled. and they had some kind of a pipe going out there at some point. Now, somebody came back in at one point in time and they rebuilt this wall on the back. And they also rebuilt this wall on the side. So that's where a seller would tell you that it's not going anywhere. Well, good for them. The question becomes, is it still good? Because I'm telling you straight up, what I'm seeing here, when I see mud down here, this is telling me mud is getting in here in some way, shape, or form. So whatever problem they were trying to solve, it isn't fully solved. And what you'd have to do would be to build up that grade in the back there so the water's shedding away. And it certainly doesn't help having these trees growing right against the foundations. So, pardon me being so wordy. Here we've got more evidence of wrapped piping that's probably some form of asbestos. Now remember, in the kitchen on this unit, we had that pipe coming down, and that pipe is going down here and it coming right into the sewer. And if a guy wanted to take a look at this sewer, this would normally be an access right here. Good luck with that. I don't know how a guy would get access in there unless you cut this pipe out somehow. So anyway, that's all I've got here in the basement. So then the next stop will be upstairs. Thanks, you guys.